Then, as a prominent leader in the world, especially in the Islamic world, and as a real architect of modern militia, with being about a half of century being active in the politics, what is your idea about the current order and situation in the world?
Well, what we see is a lot of problems within the Western world and within the Eastern world, also within the Islamic world. We are trying to solve problems through fighting, through war, and war does not solve problems. So today the world is divided into different camps, and they are against each other. They are promoting confrontation between different camps, the East and the West, the Chinese and the Americans, the Europeans and other people. There are conflicts which are not being resolved because they think that through war they can resolve problems, but war has proven that wars cannot resolve problems.
Okay, then what is your idea about the current situation in the Islamic world and the fate of Islamic Ummah, Muslims?
But in the Islamic world, as I said just now, we are not following the teachings of Islam. We are following different leaders, different imams, different ulamas, and these people have got different interpretation of Islam. And because their interpretation of Islam, their followers cannot be united because they don't accept the teachings of other leaders. So we are now divided into different sects. There is only one Islam that was brought by the Prophet Muhammad, only one. But now we have Shia and Sunni and Wahhabi and Alawite and all kinds of different interpretation of Islam which has divided us. And when we are divided, we become very weak. And now non-Muslim, other people are oppressing us because we are not strong enough to protect ourselves.
And what is your main suggestions for Ummah, Muslim people, Islamic societies in Islamic countries, especially leaders who run the countries to get rid of the current situation in the Islamic world?
The Quran tells us that Allah has made people to follow different ideas, different religion. If Allah wants everybody to be Muslim, Allah would have done so. But we are very different from each other. And the Quran says, to them their religion, to us our religion. They pray in their way, we pray in our way. There is no compulsion in Islam, meaning to say we have to be tolerant. That is why in Malaysia, although people are of different religion, we can live together because that is part of the teachings of Islam, that we don't force them to become Muslim or force them to accept the teachings of Islam. They on their side also cannot force Muslim to accept their way of life.
And your suggestions as a prominent leader with good experience for the world leaders to have a better coexistence and sound coexistence between different religions and cultures in the current chaotic world. Any suggestions?
Well, as you can see in Malaysia, there are people of very different religion. There are Buddhists, Taoists, Hindus, Christians, and Muslims. We live together. Yeah. We don't fight each other. Yes, we have our differences, but we cannot force other people to accept our way. Because in Islam, you cannot force people There is no compulsion in Islam.
Yeah. And for the world where we live, a chaotic world, global situation in order, any suggestion for the leaders who run the current situation in the world to have a better and peaceful world and coexistence?
There will always be conflict between nations, between different groups of nations. The way to solve the problem is to do it in a peaceful way, through negotiation, through arbitration, or going to a court of law. But if you resort to war, the damage done will be horrendous, terrible. But in the end, the result would be the same as through negotiation. Just as in negotiation, you may not achieve 1%, 100% of what you want. In war also, you will not achieve 100% because you will lose a lot of things that you demand. At the same time, the damage done is terrible in war. Through negotiation, through arbitration, through a court of law, the solution is not perfect. There are things that we cannot get, which we want for ourselves, but the damage done is almost nil. Nobody dies, no country is damaged.
Okay, very, very good answer. And in our areas, in some areas, people suffer from different problems, and also they know you as one of the most successful leaders in the world in the Islamic world, and they know that modern Malaysia, the result of your good mentality and good programs and perseverance. What are the main secrets behind yours and Malaysian people's success to achieve a good situation and enjoy good life in Malaysia?
We try to follow Islam as found in the Quran. In the Quran, the advice and guidance to the way of life of a Muslim. If we follow that, there will be peace and there will be prosperity.
And how other countries, as I am from Afghanistan, for many years we suffer from chaotic situations in other countries, maybe some with some basic things, they don't care basic things, how they can follow some good ways to follow the way which Malaysian people now have a good coexistence and peaceful coexistence, and also you fulfilled your good and fruitful programs and activities in Malaysia. How they can follow such activities and such programs?
Yeah, but they are not tolerant. They want everybody to follow them. Everybody pulls in different direction, and everybody wants everybody else to go. But they cannot come together because their views are different. But if they go by the guidance provided by Islam, the Islam of the Quran, then the Quran teaches us that there are things that you can do, there are things that you can't do. There are things that you can pray to Allah for guidance, but to do that, you have also to do something yourself in order to achieve the objective. This we are not doing. We often praise, we dua and all that, asking Allah to help us. But in the Quran it says that Allah will not help us unless we do things ourselves. That part you forget. You only pray. That is where
really
the problem
we have
arises.
to do. In some countries, they do not pay attention on the real value of education, especially modern education, and they think that modern education is an extra thing. What is your idea about the importance of education, especially modern education for Muslim people, Muslim Ummah, and young generation in Islamic countries?
Well, education begins when you are very young, when your parents tell you what is right, what is wrong, what gives you pahala, what gives you dosa, what. So they shape your mind.
Yeah.
That is the first part of the education. After that, it is about acquiring knowledge.
Yeah.
Because you need knowledge
Yeah.
to be able to deal with life.
Yeah.
You have to live, you have to work, you have to earn money. The second part of education is actually to understand certain knowledge which will help you live a good life, the life of a Muslim. But firstly, you must have the good character of a Muslim. The good character of a Muslim is that we are all brothers. All Muslims are brothers. Not enemies of each other. That we don't fight and kill each other. That is forbidden. And we must obey the law. It says that when you judge with justice. These are things we don't follow, and because we don't follow, we have problems.
And the importance of education for new generation in the Islamic world, especially modern education, modern knowledge.
Yeah, things are changing. What happens 1,400 years ago is different from what is happening now.
Yeah.
For example, the knowledge of the past is not the same as the knowledge presently.
Yeah.
Today, you cannot live apart from the rest of the world because communication is very easy. You can travel from one country to another in just a few hours. So the environment has changed, and therefore your education also must change. Why has the environment changed? Because of new methods of communication, because the ability to fly from one country to another so easily. So this changed our world. It's not confined to our country alone. It is now the whole world has become our country. So much so that if a disease attacks one country, very quickly the disease spreads to the whole world.
Yeah.
So this is the new environment. And there is guidance from the Quran as to how to manage the changes.
And about female education of female people, girls and women in the Islamic world, what's the importance in?
Well, women also have the capacity. They have the power, they have the mental ability, because the Quran emphasizes that use your thinking, akal fikiran. You must use that. Then women also possess that. So they must be given a good education so that they can also contribute to the development of the nation.
Okay, anything else? Anything if you want to add? Any comment? Any idea?
My comment has been only very simple. Because there are now so many people making so many different interpretations of Islam, we are divided and we are fighting each other. But if you go back to the Quran, there's only one Quran.
Yeah.
You see? There is no two different interpretations.
Yeah.
You follow that, you are united.
Okay, thanks a lot.